Welcome, everybody. This is Mindful Politics. It's been a while since I've done a video on here. So, if you're wondering why the screen is empty, it's because I really don't know what I'm going to be doing with these videos. So the screen is going to be empty for now, but I'm going to test some video editing software and I'm going to see what I can do. But today I'm just kind of rambling. I'm just kind of going into this and I'm going to be going into, I think, what I want to do with this episode, this channel, these videos in the future. And I'm going to want to go into eventually a different kind of thing that I've done before. I'm going to be doing maybe some response videos. I might be doing some videos where I respond to different YouTubers, or I might read certain articles and things like this. And I will probably be doing certain things like this because I think what we really need, and this is something that you won't see me doing on X, because honestly X is such it's such a shit posting platform that it's kind of ridiculous. I don't take it seriously because it's really not supposed to be taken seriously. Like, if you take it seriously, you're losing. That's just reality. But I'm getting to understand things in a more critical way here, getting into realizing what's actually happening here in this country, why is all this divide actually happening, what's going on here, what's causing this. And of course I've explained some of this, but it's not, we're going to be going into this, I think, because we can explain some of the problems, we can explain some of the solutions, and we can actually come to a rational, logical, decision-based process. Whereas if you're just on X, honestly, X is just oh, here's some bite-sized bit of information, out of context. It's here to trigger you. It's just a meme that keeps you interested in the mind virus that is politics these days. And so I don't really respect it. I don't really take it seriously. But YouTube, I've seen YouTubers actually do YouTube well. Actual justice warrior, Stephen Michael Davis, people like this actually do it well. Shane Killian is another one that I actually enjoy, even though I don't necessarily even agree with them all the time, but I actually enjoy how they put up things into perspective. And I've done episodes on this channel before in the past, and it's really something that I look back and I'm like, it's some of them are good, some of them are just not. But I think we really need more rationality in this country, less emotion. And this is not something that's, people think, when I mean emotion or feelings, oh, this is something the left is doing, but it's actually not. It's the right is doing this in different ways as well. Because of the way the mind works. Nobody understands how the mind works, and so they just keep making it worse because they don't know how to make this calm down. It's very interesting to understand this, but the person who understands it, though, is probably not going to get involved in this in most cases, because they're just like, this is a minefield. Like, how do you do this without fucking making it worse? How do you calm down tensions in a certain area without making it worse, right? This is the question. This is what we need to learn how to do. Like, this is something, the thing, and this brings up my problems, honestly, with both sides. Because you have one side, the Democrats, and they're supporting all these like policies that just don't make a whole lot of sense. And then you look to like the right, and they're supporting policies that some of them make sense, but some of them are just extreme. But some of them at least make sense. Like the left has gone into this spiral of death. It seems like it's kind of crazy to watch as it's happening too. It's a damn horror show to watch it happen. Especially speaking somebody who used to be moderately left. Now I'm kind of like in a place of I don't know, pure skepticism, I guess, where what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try to bring you things that are going to be logical. I'm going to bring you rationality. Which is not going to get very popular. I know that's going to be the case because that's just always the way it's always been. And, that's fine. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, I suppose. But it is not going to help things, I suppose, to say that. But it is probably going to be true. This is not something that most people are going to do because they listen to their emotions. Because facts don't care about your feelings. Now, facts don't care about your feelings. I use this in a very different way than other people. People use this phrase as if like their facts are not based on their emotions, because that's not the way the mind works. This is something that once you understand that, you really are able to see with clarity what the fuck is happening, and you go, oh God, what are these people doing? Like, why are they involved in like all these problems, and they're causing all these problems with themselves? And the reason why is because they don't understand how the mind works. The simplest things about the mind. So to give a simple example of this, because it's so simple, it's so logical to see this once you see it from this perspective. But what does your mind do if, let's say, you have an opinion or an idea, and somebody just says, "Oh, you're stupid for having this idea. Like, this person is dumb. The person that you support is dumb. You're dumb. They're dumb." Things like this. What is going to happen? Are you going to listen? Are you going to like double down even more? Right? The answer is the second thing. Oftentimes is what happens, because that's how the mind works. It's like a defensive reaction. It's like a protection mechanism. And so if you threaten or attack these ideas, these groups, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up creating this situation where you become the problem in itself, and then you start to become attacked yourself, and then you start doubling down, and then it becomes like this whole thing. And so even if there are things that, like, if you were to normally look at this from a logical, rational perspective, but because now you are doubling down, you're not doing this. So, like, for instance, you could have a president, and this is what's really interesting to me about this. Like, you're going to have a president who you mostly agree with, but are against, and are not necessarily against, but are doing things that are not for your particular values, right? Not necessarily in office, but in other ways. And probably even in office in some ways as well, honestly, but that's a different story. And so, but you're not going to be able to see that, because that's going to create cognitive dissonance between you and the thing that you're for. Because the doubling down has become tripling down and quadrupling down and infinitum ad infinitum, right? That's what we're dealing with this problem, because of the nature of the mind. This is why you have to be very, very willing to say fuck supporting one person, fuck supporting one group. This is important, because if you're not willing to do this and you're not able to do this, you're going to be caught in a defensive mind trap, which you're not going to really be able to escape. This is what we're dealing with on both sides. And I could give so many examples of this that it's actually kind of craziness to see this happen. And it is one of those things where it's easy to do this. It's easy to fall into this emotional trap, because that's how the mind works. The mind works based on emotions and intuition. And intuition is, honestly, I want to say mostly inaccurate. Honestly, there's like most of the time I'd find that it's inaccurate. And basically what I mean by intuition is like, there are like these ideas that we have in our heads, and there are different levels to this, but there's these like implicit assumptions, and these implicit assumptions and rules create fast and loose. Like, think of it this way, right? So the way that people have explained this before is you have basically two systems in the brain. It's not really this way, but it's a helpful way of explaining it. So system 2 is like what you could call the logical, rational part of your brain. It can look at the details and come to conclusions, but it's slower and it takes a lot of work and effort to do this. System 1 is fast, it's quick thinking, and that's what you could call intuition or heuristics. And that's what most of people are using. Most of the politics is using a lot of this. It's getting stuck in a lot of these problems, because intuition is influenced by emotions and is influenced by these different problems, where now somebody is saying that your president is dumb or wrong or bad or whatever, and now you have to defend him because you agree with what this person is doing. You agree with this person, this president, things like this. Which is really one of the reasons why I'm kind of this place where I've come to a different kind of way of doing this, where it's like I might find something that I agree with somewhere. And what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to go, oh, okay, what is this thing that I agree with? Why? What are some things within this that may not be true? What are some things that may be true, maybe may not be true? But looking at both sides so that your mind does not get stuck in doubling down and this kind of thing. This is not what we're doing in politics. We're getting stuck in one or the other. And I can give you so many examples of this as it's happening. It's really, really, really bad. It's really, really, really going to be a problem in the future as we get deeper and deeper into this, as it continues. And so this is why I'm going to be doing these episodes, going deeper into this going to try not to give you too much detail. I'm going to try to be very much simple at first, and then we're going to go deeper into this. So, anyways, I know this is different from what I usually do, but it is something that I think I want to do more of. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and I will dive to in the next one, whenever that's going to end up being.